Picnic. You listen to my life as if every moment I'm only scripting my unwritten memoir. Every breath I take pushes me closer to a publisher as long as I construct the proper version of my tale, one suitable for lifetime adaptation, easily reworked into an after-school special. This episode contains mature content. Parents, watch it with your children. Children, sneak away and watch it by yourselves. But although I risk your pride and my potential, I refuse to write the bestseller on eating disorders banned from every hospital shelf, the one no one in recovery will read, but 5 years down the line, everyone entering therapy, receiving their first-time diagnoses, will sheepishly admit they own. I don't believe books cause this illness, but I refuse to play even the most indirect role in passing on this pain, as if it were a legacy, as if I don't spend every day wishing the next generation would hear the words anorexic and bulimic and not know what they mean. I refuse to write the book you will retitle Dying to be Perfect or Dying to be Thin, because you're still unwilling to admit how hard I've worked to live. I need to own my story. I need my friends to be more than a moral, more than a metaphor. I don't want you asking how I plan to use this illness in my memoir, what thesis I will rest my art upon. There is nothing artistic about this when it's just your life. There is nothing artistic about this when it's the way your roommate dies twice. This is not a story. This is my life. And I don't want to hear from you how hunger is universal, and thus this is the stuff of Pulitzers, of prizes. I don't want you shoving in my face how rarely anyone recognizes how little it matters what we win after we manage to survive, or that nothing I write balances out the friends of mine who didn't make it. Their obituaries read she is survived by, but that's a lie. I did not survive you. I survived in spite of losing you, in spite of everyone who didn't understand your story, in spite of my own tendency to try and use it as a scare tactic, as a way to explain the statistic, most deadly mental illness, the risk with which we fought every day. I survived the mindfuck that was seeing you give everything you had to your recovery and then die anyway, the explosion in my brain every time I tried to understand. I survived being told you had not wanted life or wanted it in time, even though everything I knew of you denied the simplicity of that as explanation. I survived knowing what I could not articulate and loving what I could never again embrace. I survived living alone after they buried you in states too far away for me to travel to. And I survived being told time and again how I'll do great things with my life, even though every morning I must wake to realize you do not. I eat breakfast, you do not. I see friends that you don't have. I attend and complain about a class you never got the chance to take. This breaks me in a way I can't begin to put on paper. The echo of survivor in everything I do, the constant memory that this is me, only this is me, and it isn't you. I drive myself halfway out of my head, imagining there's some sort of quota for demanded deaths, thinking maybe if it had been me, it would not have been my friends. Don't tell me you can hear that and pretend these words mean something. They're just me, filling the space of silences we saved, thinking we could cover them with conversations on our futures, but the future is buried in Kentucky. In Wisconsin, the future lies in a coffin, and I'm curled up next to my roommates trying not to go hungry, with nothing to eat but dirt and satin and worms, watching the skin curl off skeletons that were already overtly visible before they died. I have pried off my own skin, searching for a self without this scar, but tears and pus and poetry are all I've found festering inside of me, and you would feed the same sick story to another generation. I refuse to call anything resembling this art. I would rather surgically extract my heart, throw it down on the desk in front of you, and say, taste that. The strongest muscle in me bleeds constantly. Can you even begin to let in what that means? When you start to listen, truly, drive with me down to Winchester. up to Stevens Point, and we will spread checkered tablecloths across the grass that covers my friends' graves. We'll bring crackers, cheeses, sandwiches, fresh fruit, and homemade lemonade. I'll eat my way to peace before the pain eats me alive. Eat a little, grieve a little, still move forward, still survive. I would rather make a picnic than a book sometimes. I would rather take a road trip just to say a prayer than write the poems you try to pry from me. My twisted story deprived of its sincerity, my friends morphed into symbols bereft of all they meant to me. You would have me write pornography, pin up our lowest weights and most deadly complications, our sickest rituals, the most devastating explanations of why we chose this illness, as if I know why, as if it's something we could choose. You would use my story the way my body has been used, and in the process re-exploit people who died or came damn close before they ever even had a chance to live. Tell the publishers I hope no one gives them the satisfaction of that memoir ever again. Tell the television stations I would rather they broadcast the test pattern. Tell yourself to go to hell, 'cause that comes close to where I've been. And we don't need to pin that image up on any wall ever again. We don't need anything that isn't nourishment. If you want a story from me, you must promise me you'll let it stay my own.